I was asked to share what the Kadampa Center means to me and my family. And I would ask of you to consider what it means to you and your folks. So I thought by sharing what it means to me, I'd start with the family and an introduction. So we're a family of four, and I will start with Layla, who is not here. She's a sharp and headstrong first grader, a born leader, maybe more appropriately a born director, and with leadership potential. She has a bright smile and an enormous heart full of generosity, and generosity that fits what we've been taught today. I wasn't going to share this story, but it brought to mind her grandfather gave her a $100 bill. And a few months later, that $100 bill showed up in my birthday card, and now I have the responsibility, or had the responsibility, of what to do with that. And she does not look at friends, family, enemies when she gives, and it is an example. She always names charity as the first bin that she remembers, and always forgets about the money for herself. So then we move to our 10-year-old. Orion, can you raise your hand? So he's the big man on campus at Wiley Elementary School. He's a 5th grader. He's very secure in who he is. As shown by one time he was on the playground a couple years ago, and some adolescents, maybe 15 or 16-year-olds, came and said, we would want you to consider joining our organization. They were part of a group of kids. He was very respectful and polite in responding that he would not be interested in considering that. And just the respect that is shown, again, is an example to me. Linda is also here with us, and she is a lover of animals and all life on Earth. She currently is a co-coordinator of the children's program along with Aaron, a long-time outreach contractor with the museum. She's brought animals here to the children's program, and a PTA officer, so very involved. We met when we were both zoology majors in school, and she was a shy student, and I was a recently injured Marine, recently discharged Marine in the reserves. And in the 21 years, she has become very much more comfortable in her own skin, and I certainly have mellowed, not that all Marines are as uptight as I was. I have certainly grown, and we've grown together in those 21 years. So now it brings me to my favorite subject, which is me. And that's probably one of the reasons I was asked. So I'm a manager in a laboratory, and it's a constantly changing environment. I'm on a year-to-year grant, and in my position there's little room for error. I'm constantly in contact with the team that I work with, which lends itself to stress. I'm a parent, as you know. This has obvious beauty. It also has obvious tests of patience. And long-term partner, any long-term relationship, I find it becomes harder to keep my listening ears on. So I've had an opportunity to make sure that I separate my desires from her desires. So here I am, prone to stress, and when I stress out, I find that I do not follow the values that I aspire to. I have a tendency not to be patient with the ones that I need to be patient with the most. So this is the Sa family, and among other things, what makes, can you all still hear me? I'm sorry. What makes our family, holds it together is, again, those shared values. These values include compassion and empathy, certainly respect and patience, and generosity. So in the next thing that I was going to talk about is, of course, the Kadampa Center. Excuse me. And we always talk about what has brought us here, our intention. So what has brought Linda and I and the kids here, and what has kept us here over the past years, are a couple things. Common values between ourselves and this organization, and the Kadampa Center helping me and us grow into the people that we want to be. Those common values. When I seek out entities, whether it's a school or a spiritual entity or an organization, I try to find ones, unconsciously or consciously. The school that our kids go to, the motto is the Wiley Way: respect self, respect others, respect property. The management philosophies that I follow don't say, okay, you're the manager, you control the people, but we're all equals and we all have a part to play, and it promotes empathy with team members. Of course, do I always attain that? My team members would probably say no, I'm sure. And as a parent, I have to set boundaries. I don't want to let my children run into the road. But of course, I need to maintain patience and not turn into that drill instructor when they do and get in their face like I have done. And it's unskilled actions that I've had in the past. So the Kadampa Center has helped me aspire to those values that I try to live, not always successful, and it also makes me realize that I'm really working toward the same things in all these different aspects of my life. Another way that the Kadampa Center helps me and my family is an amazing sense of openness. When we walk through the door, there is not a required commitment that you must say these prayers. You must make these commitments. It does not require me to change my religion even. The Kadampa Center accepts Royden and Linda and Orion and Layla as we are. And in that, I really think that the community really shows the principles and the values that I respect most, which it respects me. So the other way the Kadampa Center affects me and us is the wealth of programs. We have Linda has taken the basic, or the Buddhism 101, the Discovering Buddhism. She's taken many Lamrim classes. The kids are, of course, involved in the children's programs extensively. I have not gone to too many programs outside of the Sunday service, but I've recently started taking the Meditation 101 with my mother. It's a nice thing. She's a long-time United Methodist member, and she is really interested in meditation, and she's welcome here. And again, it's just a very beautiful thing. So our family together comes to the teachings, comes to the visiting teachers, the occasional puja, the picnics, the potlucks. So the Kadampa Center has a lot to offer, and in doing so has helped me and my family often. The teachers, when they speak, I really feel like they speak to me. It's something that I can take the rest of the week, the rest of the day, sometimes just a few minutes, but I always feel like I do better than I would have without listening than if I did not have the teachings. I hope that was clear. So in listening to our teachers, I feel like I am more compassionate to the strangers that I meet. I am more patient with those who I am most close to. And I am more empathetic to the colleagues that are around me. So really what I'm saying is the teachers that we have, the community that we have, the Sangha, we have a jewel in the Kadampa Center. It is not the Sangha's Kadampa Center, as I've heard them say. It is ours. It is the community's. And the history of this Kadampa Center that I know about, a little bit, is when Linda and I came to the Kadampa Center about 9 or 10 years ago. Orion was a toddler. We were in the basement. It really wasn't conducive for a growing family. So we visited maybe once. And then about annually, either Linda would go or I would go. And we didn't have too much family time already, so we did not feel comfortable doing that often. But Valerie at some point started the children's program. And it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. We started attending regularly at that time. I don't remember exactly when it was. And even though the children's program had started, it was still not the most ideal thing space-wise. The upstairs, for those of you who remember, wasn't the best. But here we are. We have a new facility. We have a whole new, new building. We have 2 new buildings. We're a multi-building organization. The children's program is very vibrant. Again, thanks to Valerie, who started it, and passing it on to Aaron and Linda, and of course the multitude of volunteers. It's just a wonderful place for, at least I feel like, for my kids to be in, and they say they agree with me. So now we're growing, and we've tried to handle that growth, and it's certainly a nice thing to be growing. But all of it is really, we owe basically everything to the people who have come before us. Those when we were in the basement, and all the efforts at that time, even before the Kadampa Center was in existence, those who expended effort to make it happen. And so here we are, and in the mind of generosity, I'm trying to think about where we're going to take this organization, because it is our organization. So here I am, speaking uncomfortably to you, hope, you know, having it recorded for who knows what purposes. I hope my act of generosity in speaking doesn't lead to regret. But in thinking about this talk, so I was asked to speak, and I do think it is, again, a task. But I'm thankful because as the FDC, the Financial Development Committee, asked me, I've thought about what the Kadampa Center means to me and my family. And in thinking about it, and being a little bit more mindful, I have found that I'm really grateful that we are here. I'm really grateful that we have such a wonderful opportunity to further our practice, for me to further my practice and aspire to the principles and the values that I hold important. And again, it's thanks to the teachers and the Sangha and the community and the facility. So I hope that in hearing my story, you will think about, again, what the Kadampa Center means to you, because it means different things to different people. And it is a very accepting place, and it's tolerant of that. And I'm appreciative of that tolerance. So, thank you for your time and generosity of listening. And I think I am to turn over the microphone to Shanka.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shanka.